ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of Late Night Legends. I'm your host, DJ DeVille, and we've got some awesome guests in the building. We got Icon, welcome back once again.
What up?
And we got Kellen. He's on this side of the table this time. What's up, Kellen?
Good to be here.
And we got a special guest in the building all the way from New York City.
Hey,
We've got
up,
Zack
guys?
Martino in the building.
Yes,
welcome,
sir.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
And, you know, I think we're going to have a really interesting conversation because, and all the DJs watching, I think it's really important to watch this one because I think production has never been more important to the DJ world. And he's done the flip-flop. He's a producer first, turned into a DJ. And I think hearing what he has to say from all the different sides and the different angles of the industry, I think it would be very valuable because even myself, like I put production very, very important on my list. But, you know, sometimes it's hard to manage. So I think I'm going to really enjoy this conversation. So I'm really excited. And, you know, I think I want to start with the DJing aspect because that's a little bit newer to you, correct?
Yeah.
Because you started this a lot sooner than the actual production aspect because you said you were 13 when you started producing, right?
Yeah.
So DJing started a lot later in that timeline.
When I was like 19.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so you see it from a little bit different lens. And I guess my first question is, like, as a producer first, how does that affect your DJing? Like, how do you prioritize gigs? Like, how does that affect you?
So I guess when I was first starting out just DJing, a lot of the stuff that I was doing was because my songs were kind of doing well on SoundCloud. So ultimately, right away, I was like, okay, I'm gonna play my stuff. So now, as a DJ, who do I listen to that is sort of like my sound? So I'll play like my 3 or 4 songs that I had out, and then I would try to match up what it would sound like in a set with my own songs, with other songs.
Okay, so and that's also too like from a marketing standpoint. Do you because this is a huge conflict even for me because you know you want to get booked, you want to make money, but you also want to stay true to your brand. So
totally.
Do you take gigs to take a gig and kind of adapt and do what you can, or are you kind of strict with that? Like, you know, from your music selection standpoint, like, hey, I'm a performer, I'm an artist. How do you manage that?
So right now, I feel like, okay, let's just say 2019. That's 2018 to 2019 is when I started really like DJing. I was playing mostly bottle service clubs.
Oh yeah.
So at this time, I really liked the darker stuff. I love the tech house and also sort of like the melodic techno aspect of things, but I couldn't really play that in a bottle service nightclub.
Right.
And my sound, I either have, you know, club, like tech house club bangers that I release on my SoundCloud, or my radio, you know, big vocal progressive records that I put on my Spotify.
Oh, sure.
So I had this like two, you know, I was flip-flopping between both of the styles and the sounds and everything.
It's pretty cross-compatible, which is good.
Yeah.
I mean, those two sounds complement each other.
Totally.
You know, especially based on your time frames, because you can go bigger, later it gets.
Exactly.
The more turned up everybody gets. So that's a good point. And also too, this is my curiosity, because I've only been to New York City a couple times. What is the club condition, and like what is the trends, and what's going on in New York City right now?
So right now, pop-ups are the biggest thing, I think.
Pop-ups,
rooftop parties.
Like smaller parties.
I would say put 50 kids in a coffee shop, man, everyone's gonna go crazy.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like that it's excitement. You know, kids nowadays aren't probably spending that much money at the clubs like they were, you know, even before COVID. So I feel like right now they want excitement. They want, you know, a free pop-up, just their favorite artist is coming to a pizzeria.
Oh yeah.
And they're just like, okay, sick. And you know, the sound, they'll bring in a whole production. They'll have good sound, and you know, it's cool. You're eating pizza and you're listening to your favorite artist play. And
well, how are clubs handling that? Because we've talked about this before, like the coffee shops and the pop-ups, and there's budgetary concerns here.
Yeah.
So
how
do the clubs manage that? Like even compete with that?
I think, well, just from New York, just from a standpoint, let's say an artist is playing at somewhere like Brooklyn Mirage or an Avant-Garde. They'll do a pop-up during the day or the next day. So they're in the area and they'll still promote the record.
It's kind of like a sponsor kind of thing?
Not even, I think it's unrelated.
So people that explain Brooklyn Mirage, because this is an iconic place.
Brooklyn Mirage is one of my favorite venues, even just as a club goer. You know, it's an outdoor, you know, complex. There's 4 clubs or 3 clubs inside this place. And man, I think it's like maybe a 10,000 capacity place. And
that's what I was wondering. It's big.
Massive.
It's very photogenic.
It's
amazing.
But the sound is good.
Recently updated. I think I saw something.
Yeah, I don't know if it's open. I don't know if it's open just yet, but it looks beautiful from the videos I've seen.
More like a concert venue than a club.
It is. Yeah. I played there a couple of years, like 2 years ago, and it was still to this day one of my favorite places I ever played.
Yeah, because like I always see, because I think was it John Summit?
Oh, yeah,
he
yeah.
kind of takes that place over. It's one of the
he
big
took
ones.
over, I think, all 3 rooms.
Wow, yeah, he does it. He's got different vibes.
Yeah,
it's
it
great.
was sick.
He's put like a cardboard cut out of him in room number 2.
No, you know what they did? You know what they did? It was so packed at the Brooklyn Mirage, so they actually had a live stream of his set at the Brooklyn Mirage in the other room. So everyone who's in the other room, which is called the Great Hall, also fits about like 3,500 people maybe. So they were watching him perform in the other room. At that, it was just crazy.
They know you made it win.
Yeah, they're just projecting you in other rooms.
No, they do that out here in Vegas when there's like an overflow. Cool. They'll move everybody out to the day club side.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So the nightclub's so full, but the same company has a day club attached to it that they'll just put it up on the screen so you can see the DJ set.
That's honestly super smart.
They do that out here as well. Yeah.
Well, and it's such a duality. I feel like in New York, because like I've only really seen New York from like that outsider perspective, because it's a very, very tight knit culture. It's kind of like Miami too. Like you got to know the promoters, you got to have relationships like crazy. It's amplified because it's a very tight knit community, even though there's a lot of people. And so just think about that, the duality of like Brooklyn Mirage and a 50-person pop up. So like, and then the nightclubs are kind of caught in between, because like you always hear about stuff like, I always hear like the back in the day 40/40 Club and all these very elite, almost like membership only experiences in the city, because real estate's really expensive there. So it's naturally a smaller party, even though it's considered like a super club at New York standards. So do you play like what would be like a traditional nightclub? Are there many of those left in New York?
So Tao is out there.
Okay.
So they have Marquee they just redid, and now it's like what is it? It's like it's on like a rooftop or something.
They got a new rooftop venue out in New York.
While Marquee is getting redone,
Nice.
which it's still probably one of the biggest like nightclubs everyone goes to.
So I would imagine rooftops are pretty amazing, but it's seasonal. That's a seasonal thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but this one is like, dude, it's like super high up on a skyscraper, and it's like overlooking everything.
Oh my god, yeah.
I don't know. It's called the Edge or something?
I think so.
But I think it's, let's say the building's here. I think it's like you're like off the building.
Does it look down like Central
it's almost
Park,
like a
something like that?
balcony.
Yeah.
That's
It's
amazing.
pretty cool.
Is it Manhattan or is it actually?
Manhattan.
Okay, wow.
Yep. So that they do that. Then they have like PhD, which is another nightclub that Tao does. I'm trying to think. There's Nebula out there. Nebula is also a very dope nightclub, similar to like the Marquee. So there is still, but you know what? A lot of people, like if you were to ask a regular person on the street, they'll tell you 10 different bars that are on every corner that they just love to go to.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like it's very separated right now.
Like, obviously there's a lot of boroughs and loyalties between those boroughs for like the residents themselves too.
Oh, yeah.
So how does it work with the local DJ scene? And is there a lot of pressure to be a producer DJ versus can you just get away with being a DJ in New York at this point? Because I would imagine there's a lot of competition.
Yeah, there's tiers, right? So there's like the headliner, and then there's the people that, I always go by like producers, right? They're, a lot of the resident DJs are like, I don't know if are they also making the music? Like, are they also producing?
It depends.
It depends on the artist.
The lines are blurred now because there's a lot of people who like some of the artists here, like DeVille. They do a lot of remixes and edits of songs. You know what I mean? So he's doing production, but at a different tier. You know what I mean?
I'm not doing like official like singles as much. Like I have a few singles floating around. I just did one last year with Drop the Cheese, but I'm not doing it on a consistent basis like you are, and that's where there's a big rift. Like I pump out a lot of content, but it's more utility versus like a song that's on Spotify. And that's where there becomes like a larger rift there. I mean, I can tell you that firsthand. The opportunities that you have, like if you have a smash hit, you can ride that smash hit for years.
Definitely.
And we're gonna unpack that a little bit more in a little bit, because I have a lot of questions about that, because like, you're a label owner too.
Yes.
I mean, we got to acknowledge that as well. So you're dealing with the ins and outs of not only yourself but other artists that you have under your label. And then you've also worked for other major labels as well, so you're kind of like an ambassador for a lot of different angles here. And so I guess like still touching on the DJ side of things, it's like, do you ever get caught in a position where you're asked to do something that's really off brand, and how do you deal with that? Like, as far as playing music you just don't want to play, or it's not going to vibe with your identity.
So the music that I make, it's not like I'm playing underground 5 a.m. raves. I like, my music is for like a regular bottle service crowd. People that listen to the radio will come to my shows, and they'll hear the songs that are on the radio at my shows.
Sure.
So it's not really like such an off-brand thing. I mean, I guess off-brand would be like me playing an after-hours set and I'm just ripping techno. Because that's not really what I make.
But what happens if they just want to hear hip-hop all night? Hey, let's get a hip-hop crowd in here.
So I wouldn't take like a show if I know it's like an open format.
Okay. See, that's a big discernment. See, that really, so that's what I was curious about.
So as like I said, I DJ second. So my main job and everything is all in the production world. Mm-hmm. So for I choose, and I'm very picky on like what places I do want to play at.
Sure.
Yeah. And I don't take like a show just because, I mean, look, it's.
What would you say your ratio is for like turning shows down? Like, hey, like this has to be open format. Because like from where I come from, I would say I can only do what I really want about 25% of the time. I would say that's my ratio. Like, what do you got? Like, what happens? Like, as far as your preferential style, how often do you get to play that style?
Every Christmas for my kids.
What songs are those?
Yeah. I mean, easy need dad mode with that. Yeah.
Like, I mean, for me, like what I love to play is like underground, like golden era hip hop.
Yeah.
Like Rakim and Gangstar and stuff like that. Like a couple times a year.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And I feel like there's a larger demand for just broad spectrum, just the cream of the crop selections.
Yeah.
So like, how do you like when a talent buyer calls you up? How do you ask them questions? Like, what are your biggest concerns? Like, how do you handle that conversation? Because I've been a talent buyer too, and a lot of times that doesn't even come up. Like, I'll just say, hey, this is what it is, take it or leave it. And is there a way they hate me depending on your type of party? Like, what do you do there?
I'll do my research. I'll look at their Instagram. I'll look at past artists who played there. If I see artists that played there, like Telecast, Ardian, D-Rock, all guys that like I would say my music is similar to.
It's like a food group.
Yeah, I'll be like, oh, okay, so they're playing there. The crowd and in this small town in Iowa, they probably like this. That's why I'm getting booked at this place. So then I don't ever think like, oh, I'm gonna have to play hip hop. But nowadays the lines are so blurred. Like, who doesn't like a good hip hop house mashup?
Just like a bootleg something.
I feel
and
like
those are coming. Down the pipe
my boys
like side piece.
Rich Diets are absolutely crushing hip hop house remixes proper. The whole Hood Politics camp, they're crushing it.
Yeah,
crushing it in that, and they're blending it. So in my sets now, if I'm playing like a pool party, I play like my songs, but I also throw in like some dope hip hop house mashups, and I feel like, but then again, how like people just play straight hip hop or like R&B, like an open format set. Right. Yeah, typically that's like, I would say that's like a lot of Friday nights in the city. Saturday nights, people kind of go out there expecting a little bit more house and stuff. But hey, listen, I could be completely wrong. I don't. Right.
It's a fair trend to say.
I'm the worst DJ. Like I don't go out that much anymore. Like,
I mean, a lot of cities are like that though. Like, and when I used to play in Boston all the time, then like that's how Boston.
Well, Fridays hit different than Saturdays, regardless. It's just definitely a difference.
Okay, so I'm not far off.
No, it's because from like a a monetary perspective, Friday nights are when you're trying to book ticket sellers because that gets people out. Mm-hmm. Saturday, people are already going out, so you can save money on budget by just opening doors and having a format guy where you're trying to get people to your venue on Fridays. So that's why they typically try to do it that way.
Because it's a mass appeal situation versus a specialized appeal situation on a Saturday, like a concert. Because like that's what like ends up being your producer. That's a concert. Ideally, like Calvin Harris or even like a Diplo, whatever. You're going to see a lot more of their music, but you're still hearing a mishmash of other things.
Totally, and I'm sure I haven't seen a Calvin set, but I'm sure he still plays like some hip hop, or he even has some hip hop records that I'm sure he plays.
Yeah,
but
it's interesting because like I feel like he keeps changing because like now he's out in Ibiza.
Yeah,
Ibiza.
Ibiza.
Now he's just going like hard. Yeah, Ibiza. You guys say it with a British accent. It's a lot easier.
Crikey, how's that?
Oh man, so big news. The Late Night Legends podcast is getting its own channel. We're moving. On behalf of the entire Club Killers crew, we want to thank you for your support in tuning into our brand new podcast, Late Night Legends. And it's been going so well, we want to dedicate its own channel on YouTube. All right, guys, it's super easy to find. All you got to do is go to youtube.com/@ClubKillersPodcast. And the best part about the podcast having its own channel, you'll find the clips, the shorts, and the full-length episodes all in one place. We appreciate everyone watching the episodes, but right now, only a small percentage of you are actually subscribed. So right now is the perfect opportunity to join the new channel, show your support, and get involved with the conversation with Late Night Legends. I also, too, like I'm starting to wonder, because like now I want to kind of talk to the label owner version of who Zack is.
Yeah.
Because how do you manage... Because like I feel like disco house is killing it.
Oh, yeah.
And then like what you mentioned, hip-hop house is crushing.
Yep.
As a label owner, there's a certain average you have to kind of hit, right? Because there's, I guess, fundamentals. And there's things that need to fit your label's identity. And actually, what's your mission statement as a label? Do you have a particular profile that you look for? Like, what is
my
that
label
profile?
is called Dusk Till Dawn. It's just, I made this label off of my Armada record label.
Okay.
I was with them for 9 years, and then after the deal ended, it was all on good terms.
Let's say you were with Armada.
Yeah, Armada Music.
Yeah,
yes.
I don't want you to just brush past that.
I was with Armada for like 9 years. They signed me when I was very, very young, and I love them. They're amazing people there. And, we signed an 18-record deal. And we just, over the last 9 years, we were just pumping out music. And then, back in 2024, it ended. The 18th record, ended. I kind of was like, you know what? I want to do this. I want to, do something different for a change. And I want to just, I have a bunch of records sitting around. I don't want to wait for labels to respond. And I did that for a little bit. I signed to a couple other labels here and there, just on single deals. But I was like, you know what? I can do this. I've always had the vision of like me owning my own label, and because I want to make a record on a Monday and put it out on a Friday if I wanted to.
Right.
Yeah.
Sometimes
that's a crazy workflow, by the way.
But that's just like it's having the option to.
Yeah.
I'm not. You want to get.
You don't have
record.
to wait 3 months or 6 months.
But having
that style's trending, the song's gonna fit right in.
So having the option to, because when you're assigned to a label for something exclusive like that, you can't just opt out and go to another label on a single deal, or it's a lot of work, or like it's just a lot of paperwork, and I don't know. So having your own label, it's kind of giving me the freedom to explore other options and work with other artists. So right now the third single is out on the label. It's very new. It's only been since the first single came out in March.
What subgenres does the label represent?
So anything melodic house.
Okay.
So it's progressive house, melodic techno, could even be a little techno, but it has to have a melody, and it has to have something like a vocal or something catchy. Anything else nothing matters.
Yeah.
It just has to have some sort of melody. And
the reason I ask this question, there's probably a lot of people watching that are trying to learn the business. And this is something I learned somewhat recently in the last few years, is labels represent a vibe, a sound. And that's why you have to shop different labels.
Yep.
And that's a really important aspect of understanding the business. Is there's a lot of tools out there that you can shop records with.
Totally.
And it's daunting. It really is. Like when you start, if you're really talented in different genres, you have to know how to present these records.
Definitely.
And it's. Do you have other interests outside of your own label style? Like what genres do you like to produce in a broader sense?
Oh yeah. So for my own brand, like for my own like Zack Martino, it's anything progressive house, tech house, melodic techno, like anything in that sort of realm. That's what I produce for myself. But what I love to produce in general is that, but also, I love, like, I grew up listening to Skrillex. I grew up listening to Calvin Harris. So, like, besides anything, I just love having fun in the studio. So it doesn't matter. I don't sit in my studio and I'm like, okay, I'm going to make a song and I have to put this out. I'm going to go in, like, bro, people play Call of Duty, right? They're not going to go in there. You're not playing a video game to, like, become the best person at this game. You're going in because you're having fun. So when I produce and I just want to, listen to some even rock music, I'll produce a whole rock album if I wanted to. And it's like I'll do that just for fun, because that just brings me joy to just sit there and make music on the guitar, on the drums, and just have fun with it. Not with the intent of I have to put this out because I have a label now and I have to do this. And if I don't put a song out in this time, people are gonna forget about me. No, I have my sound. I have what I'm doing for my own like brand, but I just still love to have fun as if I'm playing a video game and just sitting down. And
that's really where you sharpen your steel too.
Exactly.
There's so much like a hybridization that happens because experimentation needs to happen. You can't just keep making the same power synths like Big Room EDM like was forever. It has to evolve. Things change. And how do you manage that as a label owner too? Because you have to start looking at what's selling. You're looking, let's face it, we want to sell records.
Totally. Right.
But we also have to look at like ahead of the bell curve, right? You have to look at what's trending in bubbling to the surface,
or what's lacking. And that's where I felt that there was like a lack of melody. When I go out to these festivals, even just recently at Ultra this year in Miami, all the artists that I loved, like Zed, Axwell played, they were all playing their hits. Mm-hmm. Everyone was playing progressive house. They were all doing it. And since then, I sort of got like this like resurgence. Is that?
Right.
And I was like, I want to go back to what I fell in love with. I want to start making the stuff that I fell in love with, all those years ago. And going to Ultra really just inspired I curse on here?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Fuck yeah, you can.
Yeah, inspired the shit out of me.
Hell yeah.
And I was like, I really gotta just, buckle down and try to do something. And even if it's not super trending right now, it'll catch on. Good music will catch on. So just gotta, with the marketing and just getting it out there, that's really what it comes down to. Because someone who's 15, 16 years old isn't listening to a nice progressive house record and being like, oh, that's not trending. Like,
because there's standards. I mean, like trance is still around for a reason.
Yeah, and like there's playlists. There's playlists that would put it up there, and there's
absolutely.
So it's not like no one's making it anymore. It's just sort of not what's on the forefront right now. On the forefront, I don't even know what's. I can't even.
It's just the hybridization is on
definitely
the
a lot of house music.
A lot of
EDM
house
is taking over for sure. It's
house,
definitely
and the disco house stuff is crushing.
Disco house is insane.
The cool kid circuits.
Purple Disco Machine, that kind of. I love all that. But then you have the Afro House guys, and like that's a whole thing in itself. And then you have the guys like Anima, where that's a whole thing in of itself. So it's like. It's not what are you chasing, it's where do you see yourself as an artist. Do you see yourself as an artist playing sunset shows all the time and making Afro house, or do you see yourself making dubstep and playing hardcore raves at like all hours of the night? It's like, where do you see yourself as an artist, and then what do you like? Don't chase that trend because everyone's doing it. You have to figure out what you like, and then ultimately it'll catch on to the people who follow you.
Well, consistency is key too, because
definitely
anybody can potentially make one hit.
Definitely.
But it's a different thing when you can back it up again, another one and another one and another one.
So I released 6 songs last year. It was my transition phase. I wasn't with the label anymore. I was just kind of feeling it out. 6 songs in 1 year. Now this year I'm on track to release, I think, 15 or 16.
Wow.
And and I'm trying to do every 2 weeks, put out a new song.
So it's huge.
So
you're increasing your odds for a mega hit.
But not only that, it's showing myself that I can do it. Because last year I was in a weird phase of my life. I didn't know what I wanted to make. It was just a shift in everything. And then this year I buckled down. I actually took a month off of everything.
Wow.
From Thanksgiving to New Year's, I didn't open my laptop. I took a complete break from everything, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna regroup, kind of find myself, find my inner child again, find out why I do this, find out everything. Like, I was watching old Disney movies that I loved the soundtrack from. I was just doing everything, playing video games, and just I felt like a little kid again in like a nice way. It wasn't like, oh, I'm lazy. It was like, no, why like I forgot the why. I forgot why I wanted to produce music in the first place, why I'm doing this, why I'm like, 19 hours a day in a dark studio why do I do it? Where's the passion? So I found it, and I found that I just wanted to go back to not chasing a hit, chasing a good song. And that's what I realized, that like, hits will come, but I don't think a song makes a hit. It's how people perceive it. There's hits that I listen to, I'm like, oh, I don't particularly love that song, but people, it's people do,
It's interesting you talk about releasing like so many songs. I just had this interesting conversation with my friend of mine who owns Guest House Records, and he's been producing for, I don't know, 20 years. He's been putting stuff up on Spotify, and he was telling me that he's never had one really big hit, but he kills it on monthly revenue because he's put so many songs up. That he gets a fat check every single month. And that's so amazing. He was like, I wish that I would have known this a long time ago and started doing it, because I would have been making even more money. And so it's crazy as like a business model. You stay consistent.
There's also sync licensing and things like that.
No,
it's not just having a hit.
It's
being employed in a TV show, a movie. There's
100%,
a million things that can happen.
There's so much, guys. Like, DJing is one tiny aspect of how you can make money in this industry. It's crazy, like the production aspect of it, and like even with the music pools, like anything, selling sample packs. That's another thing that I used to do back in the day. I would sell courses. I would make a song and sell the course for like $50, and it'll show you, and with that you get my samples, you get everything I've used in the project. So it's like just doing things like that to make money while chasing your dreams. And like there's so many artists that still do that. I know guys like West End, he has a whole production company where he does sample packs and preset packs for production, and he's still crushing it. He's on tour doing everything.
He's playing here in Vegas. He just played Palm Tree Beach Club last Sunday.
He's insane. One of my favorite artists too, and it's like he's still doing that for the culture and for the upcoming artists. So
even like Cashmere, I mean, he's one of my favorite sample pack makers.
Dude, I still use his 10 years later, I'm still using his like kick drums and shit.
Incredible.
Yeah.
I got like 4 of them. They're
Well,
awesome.
that little, everybody uses that. So
yeah.
it's so cool how that really, you can really have a massive impact on the industry from a behind the scenes perspective,
Oh, yeah,
and then still
that's-
be on the forefront too. And actually, I want to go back to the business side of like, okay, so when did you sign a deal with Armada?
I was 22 years old.
So that's a lot of pressure to take
Oh,
on
yeah.
for as a 22-year-old person.
Yeah.
I wasn't doing anything useful when I was 22, and let alone a massive deal. So how did that come about? Did you submit tracks, and then how did they come to, like, as a massive label that they are, put so much trust in you? What was that conversation to the contract? Like, how did that happen?
So basically, first of all, they're the nicest guys. Michael, Yaron, like those, they put so much, they had so much respect. It was a mutual respect, and also they did trust. You trust, you never, like, I didn't know I was going to have, the success that I had when I first signed that deal. I was making the music. So how it all came about was I made a song in 2016, and it was on their label. I wasn't a signed artist. It was on actually W&W's label,
Okay.
Main Stage Music. And it was just a one-off. They heard the record. I sent the demo. They loved it, and they signed it.
Wow.
Didn't think anything of it. The next year, I had their emails from that email from the year before.
Right.
I was like, you know what? I have this record. It's a little bit different than stuff that I'm making. Why don't I just send it to them and see if they'd sign it? So they did, and that became like my first radio single. I wasn't signed to them yet. It was just a one-off deal. It was just here's the song. It went number 3 on the Billboard charts and number 1 on Mediabase.
Wow.
This record was called Hold On To Me, and it was, I got the vocal from a sample pack.
Okay.
I paid $22 for the vocal
Nice.
on like Beatport. Remember Beatport Sounds?
Yeah.
So I got that, and I made a whole song
And
around it.
You owned it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. And honestly, just going off of that, like everyone's doing that now.
Yeah.
Like you'll hear like Eli Brown and all these guys, like they use Splice. And Splice is amazing for that. There'll be 10 songs using the same sample, but they're good. And especially if a young kid isn't spending the $2,000, $3,000, $5,000 on a vocal fee from a singer, Splice is good. I'm all for it.
Well, I heard a good quote. I saw it on Twitter the other day. I think it was Wookie or somebody. They said, everybody's got the same Legos, but not everybody builds the same house.
100%. You said that too.
Yeah.
Today.
It's if whoever makes it hot first. I mean, same thing with like Canas by Steve Angelo. It was just a loop.
Oh,
and he made it hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like
that's all it takes.
Yeah, like someone could steal my laptop, right? Someone could steal my knock on wood. Someone could take it, right? But they won't know what to do with it. They won't know the program. They won't. I'm sure that we can't make the same song.
Yeah.
Even give me the same samples. We probably will make a completely different song with the 30 samples that both of us have.
Even like DJing, like we were talking about this the other day. You're a perfect example. I have every DJ DeVille edit probably ever made. Most of my friends also have most DJ DeVille edits. And if we went to the same club,
I have DJ DeVille edits too.
yeah, like we go to the same club and we're all playing pretty much the same songs, totally different. You mix different.
Yeah, it's like a chef in the kitchen. We
Exactly.
all have a steak and some vegetables.
Sounds
Who's
totally
gonna
different.
cook the best meal?
Yeah,
Right.
So that's the difference, and it's from a creative standpoint. I mean, even Skrillex, he lost his laptop,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
he ended up turning around, writing Scary Monsters, Nice Sprites, and changed his career because he got his laptop stolen.
Yeah.
They put him on a system reset.
It
So
happens.
sometimes crazy things happen.
Yeah.
But nobody can take away your art form and your experience.
Exactly.
So that's all that really matters.
Yeah.
But there was something I actually, Kellen, you kind of brought this up. I want to hear more about this, but sometimes bad things happen in the label structure too.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes it's not taking your laptop, but it's a song or an idea. Like, can you tell that story a little bit?
Yeah, I've gotten like either songs. So what happens is in this industry, like they're like top liners, right? So you'll make an instrumental. A top liner will sing over the instrumental. But if you don't like that top line that they sang over your instrumental, you can essentially just be like, oh, like you can take that the top line and go somewhere else with it. But I'm going to take my instrumental and maybe find another singer because it didn't work out. It happens. It's rare that it happens. Usually and anyone I work with, we try to just make it work. But in a case where I'm just not feeling, because sometimes it'll be like, hey, here's the top line. And then it's like, oh, I don't really love the direction. I don't love this. And it's hard to, I don't like confrontation. I don't like telling someone I don't love this. I don't, so it's hard. So, but it's, it's business. You have to, if you're not feeling it, you just have to, work it out. But in cases where, it's like the whole idea I'm not a huge fan of, I'll be like, yeah, like I'm just gonna take this instrumental and you know go somewhere else. And so that had happened, and then you know that top line, I would hear it over a song that sounds really similar to my instrumental, and I'm like, oh, like you could have just sent the top line. You have to send my beat with it, you know, to another artist.
So it's like somebody recreated it.
Yeah. So that has happened a couple times.
Interesting. Yeah. And so
yeah.
How do you deal with that? Can you deal with it? Because that would drive me insane. Because I get really possessive of my own art. So it's like,
I mean, sometimes it's done out of like, you know, people don't care. People don't care about your feelings in this industry. For me, I wouldn't do that to someone, but sometimes that happens. And other times it's like, you know, I don't know where I really don't know. I feel like it's one of those things where, like, what are you gonna really do? What can you really do about it?
Well, and sometimes you're dealing with people that could end up giving you another opportunity down the road if you're working with another label or business person that
getting
you
blacklisted. What if it's someone that's like a big artist, like, you know, let's say it's someone like a Tiesto or something. I'm not saying it's him, but you know, something like that. Right. It's like, what can you do as an upcoming artist trying to make it? It's like, what you're gonna say? Hey, Tiesto stole my beat.
Right. Well, it's just navigating the politics. It's just being street smart with the politics.
You gotta be street smart, and like, if it's not going to make or break anything, it's sometimes not worth going.
It happens all the time.
It does. It happens. It happens with, you know, Ed Sheeran had a whole lawsuit or something with the melody sounded like another song. It happens to everyone, not just like the DJs and stuff. But I don't know, man. It's one of those things where it's like you got to just say, is it worth going, or, you know, is it worth it? Honestly.
Oh, right. And so here's the other question I have about the label structure of things, because there's features and you're put on it. I always wonder how this works, because this happens all the time too.
I think all of us are curious right now.
Because like, okay, so you got sometimes like there'll be a mid-level artist that works with a top-level artist, and then they're featured sometimes. So to give that guy more shine, to make him a high-level artist. But sometimes, like, how do those negotiations work? Is there more money involved, or is there more shine involved? Sometimes not being taken off the record and just getting a back-end deal. Like, how do you navigate those conversations? And how does that work?
So it's always a very awkward conversation, especially when you're dealing with, because like I said, there's levels to artists. There's tiers of artists. So if you're working with an artist that, typically how I work with my friends is, we'll make a song, right? And if it's not for my label, it's like, we'll make a song, whoever, like this just happened. Wait, no, it didn't just happen. It was like a while ago, but we had made a song, and we're like, all right, we're gonna figure out whoever can get the song signed, their name will go first. If I send it to a couple labels and you send it to a couple labels, whoever gets the song signed, your name goes first. And that's if you're at the same level. But if you're dealing with, like, I'm just gonna use Tiesto again. If you're a very new artist and you're Tiesto, obviously their name will go first because it's, you know. But then again, it's like, it's a great exposure for you as well. So that happens.
You
and
say
then
you have a song with Tiesto, like,
and that's the thing. I can literally see a list of MP3s and goes, that person made it, and this person is the reason it's on the radio.
Exactly.
So you can see that.
That's not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah,
you know?
it's a business deal.
Oh, for
because,
sure.
You know, there's a clout equity, and then there's sweat equity.
Yeah, I've had friends who they made songs with big like A-list artists, and they're on tours because of that. DJs are on tours for remixes. You know, that's like, they'll make a remix, it'll blow up, and now they're touring all over the place. And it's just, you know, right, like I said, right now you don't know, like, what's working, you know, with TikTok and everything. But back to the artists and, you know, the levels. So basically, okay, so let's say us four are in a studio. We made a banger. We want to give it to Tiesto, and I'm using him again. Just we want to give it to Tiesto. Typically, if there's 4 artists on the record, one person's getting left off, because on Spotify it doesn't. So if it's like Tiesto's a main artist, 2, 3, and now
now it's just mechanical.
You're now just a feature because it doesn't go on your page.
But it goes on the songwrite credits.
I think your name is. I think your name is. I don't know if your name is on it, but you're not a main artist, so it's not going to be featured on your profile on Spotify.
So it gets chopped.
Someone gets chopped if there's that much. Or Tiesto could be like, I really like this record, so 1, 2, 3, 4, you know, you guys get the back end. It's my record now.
But does that mean more money for?
It's probably you work out. So there's a couple things you can do. They can buy you out for X amount, it's
it's
that
all
number
negotiable.
varies.
Yeah.
Or you just get royalties, and you always want royalties though, because
Yeah,
you never know. So you always take something up front. Like when I work with singers, they'll charge. Like when I work with a vocalist, they'll charge me a fee, and then we both split the back end, or whatever was negotiated.
No, that's smart because because I would make me sick if you made an awesome record and you get signed to Tiesto, it gets put in a movie, like it's in the new Avengers movie, and all you did was take a small check or something. You want those points. You want points.
That has happened to me.
Oh, really?
Too many times.
Yeah. See,
but this is all before. This is before. Like,
but you learn.
The thing is, every artist out there, I can almost guarantee, like upcoming, they're studying how to be the best DJ. They're studying how to be the best producer. But they're not studying. They're studying how to be the best business person. And you have to learn the business. And that's not by getting screwed over. That's just learning business. Go as much as stuff you're putting into learning how to make music. Go and just take a couple production courses. ChatGPT now. Just learn how to not get screwed over.
Yeah.
Make ChatGPT your lawyer. If like you could literally put a contract in ChatGPT and it'll read it for you. Like just use the tools to your example.
I didn't even think about that.
To your advantage.
Take out the legalese and just get to the point. And that's actually a great tool. So.
But,
pro tip.
100%. But also like it's not even about it's just about not getting screwed over or not trying to. Like in this industry there's only a few things you really need to know, and it's be a good person. Don't be a pushover. Like actually stand your ground, because that's big in the industry. Like if someone is like they stand like up for themselves and is everything, people like get afraid about, like they're like, oh, I don't want to be known as that. But it's like, dude, you have to. In this business, it's a dog. What is that? Dog eat dog.
Yeah. People will take advantage of you if you let them. So it's like you just can't let them take advantage of you.
Oh, and you got to think about like the perspective. There's a lot of people. I mean, especially in the hip hop industry, everybody wants that first check. So they can go get a car, get a house, get some jewelry, and then you realize that's a loan. Yeah. And then that's what happens to a lot of like artists in general. Even like look at TLC back in the day, that everything was basically loaned to them and they didn't get any points on their own music. Yeah. But then on the flip side, I think Master P is my favorite story, where he went to a meeting and the record executive offered him $1 million. He's like, man, if they're willing to give me $1 million without even me asking, I'm worth way more than that.
Oh, for sure.
So having that perspective and that value leverage, you got to have some self-confidence, but then also just awareness of how the industry works, and you can go really far.
Yeah, and having good people around too. Yeah. Like having a good, anyone could be go around saying that they're your manager, but having like a good business, like someone who's been in a mentor is more valuable to me, I think, than because like I've had managers in the past. Now I have no manager. I've been doing this, but I have like 15 mentors. So I have someone I know I can go to for different things. You can't expect one person to know it all. So that's why I always say, like, instead of getting one manager, get a bunch of mentors. Make a list. Amazing. Have like a check sheet of what you want. Like I know whenever I'm releasing a song, I have to do 4 or 5 things. It's what is every DJ's email to send it out, my song to them? What's the radio promoters, programmers' emails to send it to them? Playlist on Spotify. What are those? And then these two, it's marketing campaigns. So it's what do you want to do for TikTok, and then you get a bunch of TikTokers emails, and then you start sending everything to them. So there's not that much you have to do. Like it's only like a couple things, but once you write it down, and then you find out, okay, who do I know that knows this guy? Who do I know that knows this guy? And then once you have the whole diagram in front of you, it's not like, oh, I'm releasing a song, now what do I do? You have the blueprint. Now it's just finding the people that do it.
All right, guys, I want to take a quick break from the podcast. And as a special thank you for tuning in, Late Night Legends wants to offer you guys 15% off at the clubkillers.com store. It's super easy. All you got to do is go to clubkillers.com, go to the store, pick out your favorite merch, and when you go to the checkout window, enter the code LATENIGHT15. Thank you guys for watching. Let's get back to the podcast. Well, actually, that brings up a little subtopic I want to talk about, because you've really, started working hard. You said 2016.
Yeah, I released my first song in 2015.
And you're actually like really putting in the chair time. And this is something I get frustrated with, because I want to be in the chair working in the studio. Mm-hmm. I want to be focused on that, let my creativity flow. But then you have all these distractions. You got to have TikTok, you got to have Instagram, you got to have YouTube, you got to have outreach, you got to have, like, how have you managed that as the demand has grown for that?
So I don't really follow trends. I really don't. You do like a little video here and there, which is fine if you want to do it. But I just stay true to the music, and like I post like what I like to post. I'm not very big on social media. I don't post every single day. I should. I know everyone has to do it, but I just, like I said, I don't. There's not enough time in the day to do all that. So
but your success is coming from your legacy at this point. It sounds like your relationships.
Yeah.
Because like you kind of preceded the demand for it, because you started really becoming successful before social media was such a structured requirement.
Definitely.
So you actually have a lot more behind the scenes relationships that kind of allow you to kind of skip that a little bit. It sounds like. So which is awesome. That's actually great.
What I do is I reference what other people are doing.
Sure.
And I see other people that are. I always say like doing the same thing I'm kind of doing musically, and then also brand wise. So it's like I see how they're kind of posting, and they're not out here doing TikTok dances. They're pertaining everything to the music, and it could be a cool visual, it could be a little music video that they put together, or they're just like, hey guys, this is my new song, check it out. And then they play the song. And there's a lot of ways to promote your music, but I think what I lack in my own self is promoting myself. I promote my music all day, every day, but I don't promote Zack. I don't promote
like the brand.
Like no, right. Like me. Like people see me on social media. They see me at the shows. They listen to me on Spotify, but they don't know me. Or they don't. Or I think that, and that's on me. I don't put myself out there as much as I should. And I could have the best songs in the world, but you could love my song, and still not want to come to see my show. So it's like getting yourself out there and putting yourself out there is more important than just, this is my new song, check it out. And that's what I've realized. Like I said, I took that whole month off, and I'm just like, what am I doing? Am I going to have another year that I just had, or am I going to actually step up a game? Because like I said, I've been doing this for so long, but if I just kept doing what I was doing, you don't grow. You have to always evolve with everything.
Who do you admire that is a producer / DJ touring artist? Who do you admire, and do you think you could even emulate a little bit? Who do you really like, how they're doing?
Dude, Dom Dollar, John Summit. These guys, they blew up, 5 years ago? They've been also producing forever. Like I would say,
I remember them playing to crowds of nobody.
Yeah.
They were like a hard push for a few clubs out here in Vegas. They were headliners, but they weren't like main act. They were on like Sundays or Thursdays.
Do you think social media changed that for them?
I think for John Summit, I remember watching it happen, and he had like a couple good songs out. Like he had Human, he had a song with Sophie Tucker. They were out. They were good enough for him to be getting booked out here, but he put out a couple new songs, one right after the other, and they were just absolute bangers, festival bangers, and they just took off. And it was just. But
his personality and him as a person is what gravitated, I think, them to the music. Like I think it was just him just being himself on social media. At the time where he was posting, it was no one was really doing that. No one was posting them drinking and going partying. You knew DJs were partiers, but you didn't really see it. And you pair that with amazing music and just really freaking good,
he's an interesting. So he plays at Live out here, right?
Yeah.
The talent buyer is a good friend of mine, and he was saying that out of all the artists that they work with, John Summit's team is the only one. Like they have weekly calls with them. How are ticket sales? What do we need to do to make these events better? Oh, we need to do a meet and greet. Awesome. We need an Instagram story. Done. Like they go above and beyond, and that's a big thing for new artists to recognize, is that just because you're headlining somewhere, it's all of this back end, and then that shows so much more value to not only the people that are coming to see you, but also the venues, the people that are writing the checks. That stuff is huge.
Or even David Guetta, he just did that. He threw a disco party
at the Poodle Room. Yeah,
and they filmed it, and they created an entire campaign of the tour of the hotel. So now he's not just promoting a venue; he's promoting the entire company that's employing him. So there's these relationships being built, but then all of a sudden you feel closer to David Guetta, because now you get to understand that he was a disco DJ before he was an EDM producer.
Yeah.
So that's a huge emotional connection.
That's what it is, man. It's the connection, and that's. A lot of people, you don't see that. And I see a lot of people now that are doing mashups right on TikTok. And, a good friend of mine, Andrew, is doing that now, where he's, making a mashup, putting the camera on, and it's going viral. It's doing really well. And I just feel like, even though you don't get to know him, you don't know what his voice sounds like, you don't know that, but you just see his charisma, and you see him just like, you would want to go see this guy, go perform, because you see how he is. And it's not about just like getting on the microphone and be like, hey, I'm Zack, this is who I am. You can do that. You know, I would love to do that one day. Well, kind of doing it now, but like just
but you have to find
about
out what works for you so you can stay consistent. Because like
Exactly.
you can get outside your comfort zone, but if you end up kind of regressing, it's not going to push you any further.
Totally.
So like, you know, because I study a lot of this stuff too, because there's a lot of guys out there that are really great, you know, studio producers. They're not personable people.
Totally.
And they suffer from that. Like, and I've had to I've had to break that out. Like, I don't want to necessarily be on camera all the time. And, you know, Alex Dreams is the one that kind of pushed me to, like, you know, get on camera and start doing more of this. And it's really changed my reception. Like, I've been a DJ for 26 years this month.
Wow.
And that's crazy for me to even say that. Like, I started in 99. And social media was not a requirement for such a long time. Like, I think, you know, in our timelines, because you've been DJing about the same amount of time, right?
Yeah, I'm thinking probably like 2016 is when it really kind of started to ratchet up. And
It started, but it was just like a cherry on top.
Well,
of
really,
what
it
you're
was
doing.
like, I mean, even MySpace back in the day was huge because, like, we were booking, like, you could do guest lists through MySpace.
Yeah.
And you could get hundreds of people. And then when Facebook launched, and then you could get, same thing, like, you could use it as a marketing tool. I remember my wife back in the day, she was a content waitress at Pure, and they had to, you had to have on the industry night a guest list. And she was the first one to, like, automate this system, and she would have like 900 people on her guest list, and her friends are like,
Crazy.
here's 10 or 11, and the owner of the company was like, what the fuck
I need her to
is
automate
this?
my system now.
Yeah, it was
You know what I mean?
crazy.
Can I hire her?
But I mean,
Wow.
that was in like 2010. So I
Yeah.
mean,
That's cutting edge, though, at the
Yeah.
time, especially.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that's cutting edge.
Yeah, I remember I had a MySpace, and my this was like 2009 or something, and my like thing that I was doing on there was taking songs and speeding them up like chipmunks. Like the hype, and now you would call that like what, hyper pop or something?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you know. But I was doing this in like 2009, and it was just like,
Whoa.
it would be like Lollipop by Lil Wayne, just at like, you know, 165 BPM.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
just,
Right.
And
Just-
people were
That was,
liking it.
you just jogged
Yeah.
my memory. That was a
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when you speed it up, you take ketamine and it slows it back down.
Yeah.
So that's a strategy.
So you listen to it in real time.
Yeah. That's a strategy.
That's incredible. So that's how you do it. Okay, that
Yeah,
makes
yeah.
sense.
I was
Oh
gonna
my
say,
god.
it's an interesting topic because you talk about the mashup artists, and we were just talking about how it doesn't really translate to Vegas. Because in Vegas, it's not necessarily our guests coming just for you as the performer. There's a lot of guests who are there to see the venue, or they're just there because they're a tourist.
Yeah.
So DJing in Vegas is a lot different because you have to cater
It's
to
also like New York,
a
though.
very you know different crowd,
it's
like
not-
a
yeah.
variety of people, and we have a lot of like people who are maybe blowing up on TikTok or they're social media influencers, but when they get to the club, it doesn't really translate because only a fourth of the people in the room have any idea who they are.
People come
So
out, they
they're-
don't even know who's playing.
So
They
they're-
just they hear the venue and they're like, oh, let's go here,
Yep.
but they don't. It's pleasantly surprising, I guess, when like you're like, oh, this guy's gonna be here.
But that's the
Right.
benefits of their marketing.
Yeah.
'Cause
It's
they worked
also
hard.
Yeah.
when the DJ skills come into play, because some of these
Oh, yeah.
social media people might not be as skilled as some of the other veteran DJs that are used to performing for like those types of crowds. So now we're seeing kind of like an interesting problem where like like the dance floors are kind of clearing for these famous people, but they're only famous online.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not translating in person.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, then what now? You know, what you have 1 million followers on TikTok and Instagram. You're getting booked for maybe $15,000-$20,000, maybe more,
Yeah.
and you're not drawing a crowd. Then what?
So I think this is, we've talked about this too. This is a really powerful thing where like I've seen like TikTok, even like like these Instagram models, and they put out a book and one person shows up and they've got 5 million followers. At what point you have to figure out how to prove this your value in reality? And I think as polarizing as James Hype is, there's people that love him, there's people that hate him, but this guy has been online and backed up what he can do in person. But it was, I guess, in DJ years, it was super fast how it happened. I mean, he blew up after COVID, but he's been a DJ for a long time.
I think he played every single day during COVID. He had a live stream.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
so
just-
he
He's a
backed,
grinder
but
for
he
sure.
backed it up because I mean,
Oh, yeah.
obviously he really does what he's doing. He's not like faking the funk. Like I'm not gonna say any names, but there's mask people.
Yeah.
I'll just say that.
Yeah.
But like he really puts in the work, and then he backs it up, and he continues to get more opportunities. And then what he does is he spreads positivity and perspective on his social media. Because guys, he says I was just doing this 5 years ago in my kitchen. Now I'm in high Ibiza.
Yeah.
Like that's not that long ago.
It's not, yeah.
But every single day he's putting in work, so it seems like a long time because you're seeing that progression every single day, and he's consistent on his social media to tell that story. And you really are telling a story every single day. And if you can figure out how to do that, like Propa's another one. I've talked about him before. Like he tells a story every day about something. Whether he's in his studio, it's not glossy.
Yeah.
He's just saying, hey, like I got frustrated with this plugin. This sucks. I want something new. And then all of a sudden he puts out a banger. So then all of a sudden it makes sense. Like he got frustrated with plugin, found a new tool, made something happen with it, and boom, he's got a hit. So that even helps you understand as a fan what that means. I mean, we can all take something from that. You don't have to necessarily be a producer. You just have to know your story. You have to know how to. You have to know how to create value for yourself, and you have to. Nobody really has a blueprint for that. You have to figure out what makes you the best version of you, and then portray that through a camera lens. And that takes time and it takes practice.
Well,
you have to do it every day.
Every artist I've like talked to, just like, they're kind of all like introverted people, man. We're all just, we're just musicians. We weren't, like I said, even for me, I didn't start making music to be a DJ, like play shows. Like I just loved making music. And like now, not that you're forced to, but you have to, you're expected to, be a certain way. And, a lot of artists don't want to do that. And a lot of people I know just stay behind the scenes making the music for the bigger guys.
Do you think, what's this, like, have you seen some success stories of people that have avoided social media and found a way to circumvent that requirement?
So I would say Zoo. He's a good one. He keeps that mysterious, look, and he kind of just, when I think of
I don't know
artists,
anything about Zoo.
Yeah, but
you'd know his
there
songs.
You go.
Yeah.
Now that you say that, that's a great example.
But, so Zoo is a good example. Gesaffelstein.
Yeah. Mysterious.
Yeah. He's another
he works
one.
with The Weeknd.
But like, how about Daft Punk?
Yeah.
Name one fact about Daft Punk.
French.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying.
They make great songs and wear helmets.
100%. But that's what I'm saying. It's like, it's the branding. It's everything. Zoo has an amazing brand. Even guys like Swedish House Mafia. Like, I've been listening to them forever, but I don't really know much about them other than, I just...
Jay-Z and Beyonce, they don't talk about their personal lives at all.
Yeah. Everyone else does for them.
Yeah. They let everyone create that hype for them.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's such an interesting concept. But I mean, there's also an elevated amount of hype.
Let's try to think of an upcoming one that's doing it that you don't know about.
Yeah, like
I would say Marshmello. He didn't give
wait, that
people do know who he is now.
Yeah, that's a marketing machine.
No, because now that I'm thinking about it, I don't think you can anymore. That's the thing. I don't think you can.
There is a ceiling now.
I don't think you can be this mysterious guy anymore unless you have a helmet or just a really cool
Sickick,
brand.
Maybe Sickick has done it.
Yeah, but he got some controversy. That's who I wasn't going to mention. Mention him anyways, because like he actually created. I mean, he's a damn good R&B singer. But he actually caught a weird reputation. He got a lot of DJs to talk about him because he fakes his routines on his YouTube channel. Because he's miming. And that was the biggest argument. It's like, because he's not doing it for DJs. He's doing it for consumers and girls that love his music. And that's what ended up happening because he put a Pioneer S11 in front of him and pretend he's playing while he's singing. And it makes sense to the general consumer, like a guy playing a guitar.
Yeah.
Oh, he's serenading me through an S11.
Yeah.
But all the DJs are like, yo, fuck that. He's faking everything. And so it's like, it created this like weird rift between DJs and artists and consumers. And there's like, he never had full support from everything. Yeah, but then he's obviously opening up for J-Lo. He's doing something right.
He played out here in Vegas recently. He played Zouk. I think like a couple weeks ago.
But that's the thing. It's like so when I make my music, I have my radio records that I'm not expecting people to play. I'm expecting maybe mix show. Like I always aim for mix show because I live on the radio. Like I want to get my songs on the radio.
Oh, for sure.
But I'm not expecting like nightclub DJs to play my like pretty progressive record all the time. Maybe my like techier stuff, maybe my remixes. So I cater to more like, and honestly, producers, if you're listening to this, up and coming, everything, I don't make those types of music, those types of records for producers. Someone could listen to my song and be like, oh, like a producer could be like, oh, that kick is a little harsh or, that. But the average consumer isn't critiquing the music like a producer would. And I'm not trying to like, what's the word? Like, I'm I'm not trying to get what's the word, man?
Trying to cater to your own
Yeah, I'm
peers.
trying to cater to like the general public.
Yeah,
like what Sick Kick is doing is like he's not thinking about the other DJs playing his like little mashup thing that he's doing.
Yeah.
He's just doing it for the consumer.
Well, it
and
looks cool, and that's
it
what
does look
got
cool.
people
Yeah.
hooked.
Oh, yeah,
He's
for
getting
sure.
millions of views. I'm not discounting the fact that it
Oh,
works.
yeah.
It's just frustrating as like I'm speaking from the DJ's perspective of.
Oh, yeah.
He's using our art to leverage his own delivery.
Yeah.
And he's doing it in an inauthentic way, but it works.
Yeah.
So what's the argument? Like, so that I could see both sides of the equation
Totally.
because he's
Yeah.
getting millions of views and he's making it palatable to someone who has no idea what that little filter knob does on a Pioneer S11. They
Gotcha.
don't care. They just want to see you doing something so it looks like a guitar or you're playing a drum, whatever. So I really do understand that because like I always say also too, I don't DJ for other DJs. I DJ for the dance floor.
For sure. For sure.
Because like,
and that's
if I'm
how I look
DJing
at
for other
it like,
DJs,
when
what's
I
that
make
doing for
music
me?
too.
Yeah.
Because another DJ isn't gonna buy a ticket to your show.
Yeah,
They're
facts.
actually, and honestly, I'm not gonna lie, man. A lot of the DJs and like, it's not so kumbaya, bro. It's like everyone's kind of hating on each other. Everyone's like, how did he get that gig? I want that gig.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna do that gig for free, so then that person who's charging isn't gonna get it. And like that happens too all the time.
Yeah.
So
That happens with video too. I noticed that with videography too. I'm
they'll
like,
do
what
it
the
for
heck?
free. So someone who else is like trying to or has been doing it for 10 years is
Yeah.
like, I can't get my fee because there's this guy who is just trying to like, do it. And I think a lot of people do it for the wrong reasons also. They, I'm sure most people do. Everyone loves the music. You're not going to be a DJ if you didn't love music.
Right. Oh, yeah.
So I don't discredit anyone. You're getting into this. You do love it to some extent. But I feel like a lot of like the hating and all that stuff, it just comes out of like jealousy. I think
Absolutely.
that's what it mainly comes down to.
Yeah.
And
Well, hating is love, or jealousy is love and hate at the same time.
yeah.
I saw that online. That's just a quote. I can't take
I like
credit.
that. I like
That's
that.
good. I like that too.
Yeah,
Like
it's
I
true
take
though.
inspiration from people. Like I don't hate on anyone. Everyone's doing their own thing. I think you just have to be happy. Like a lot of people, mostly artists, are struggling artists until you make it. So they probably work in, jobs that they don't want to work, but they're, on the weekends they're the man. They go into the club, they're, crushing it, but then on Monday they're going back into maybe their office job and they're miserable. It's such a Hannah Montana, kind of life they're living.
Yeah.
And they're probably not that like happy. So then they see guys like Sick Kick or they see something and they're just like, this motherfucker,
Yeah, right,
right, yeah,
and it's
yeah.
a lot of just back and forth, and I just feel like, I don't know, there just needs to be more love, man.
But you've actually transcended a lot of that by being wearing so many hats.
Oh yeah.
And you have so many interests within this realm. So you've created a career when there's so many people that are just starving artists and they're just trying to chip away at this. And I mean, do you have any recommendations for producers that maybe even want to get signed to your label? Like, what do you think is the most important thing that an up and coming artist needs to understand in this market right now? That
it's not about the mixing and mastering. It has to be a good song first. So it doesn't matter if the song isn't mixed master. You can get someone to mix master for you. That's not, that is an art in itself. A producer isn't a mix engineer. Yes, you can do both. I do both. A lot of people do both. But if the song is good, we could always fix the rest. So I just say if you have a good song and it hits the criteria of like melodic, maybe a nice vocal, if it's a little darker, I like it all. It just has to, fit in a melodic house, sort of way. But it doesn't have to be the best song you've ever written, like sonically. It doesn't have to have like, because a lot of kids they try. Everyone tries, but they're not mix engineers. They don't have these $1 million studios where they're getting it to sound like Calvin Harris. So we have guys for that. And
I think that's an important aspect because I'm more on the mixing engineering side of things. That's what I got my degree in, and I learned to love producing.
And listen,
I still hand my stuff off. I can't mix my own records.
I don't care what anyone says. There's no I in team. You know what I mean? Like there's not like you need help. I'm trying to bang out 2 records, a record every 2 weeks. Like, I definitely don't mind getting an extra ear on it and be like, yo, did I mix this right? Oh no, can maybe run it through your machine and see. And there's no shame in getting help when it comes to stuff like that because like I said, I don't have $1 million studio either. I do it myself, and when I do my other productions I do it, but I'm just very, I'm very like stubborn when it comes to my own records. I'm like, I trust this guy. He's been doing it forever. Yo, you specialize in this? Can you just let me know if it's really good?
Yeah.
So I have no shame in that, and I feel like with everything, like you could shoot an amazing video. But you probably edit. Right. He does edit fire, but there's probably an editor. You're like, I want to use his editing for my video.
And it would have saved
and then
me a lot of time.
You know what? You're gonna go back out and you're gonna do another video and you're gonna hand it off to him. And now you're just gonna.
I would love it.
Yeah. It's so getting help isn't bad, but I feel like back in the day they made it seem like you needed to do everything yourself, and you know
that was a misconception for a long time.
It really was, and there was, and you know what? It was like people felt shame, like, oh, you know, no one can know that this guy. But then you look at guys like Cassian. I don't know if you know Cassian.
Yeah.
He's the mix engineer, master, everyone for like everyone. He's done John Summit Records. He's done Rufus Du Sol. Look at his catalog. He's my favorite producer, but he's also such an amazing mix engineer, mastering. He does all that, and yet he's still touring every single day.
That's why his songs go so hard.
Yeah,
now we know. Now we know why.
But he's friends with everyone, and he helps them out. And there's Rufus Du Sol is my favorite artist too, and it's like. His like, am I like, do I like them less because Cassian's mixing and mastering? No, they're it's a beautiful record, and
that's a good point though.
And these kids, or you know, any consumer that's not into like this space, they don't give a shit, bro. They don't care who's mixing.
You're listening on iPods or whatever.
They just want it to sound good.
They just want it to sound good. They don't,
amazing.
you know. And then, you know, Cassian, he has his whole career, and he also has the production business. And you know, I guess for any producers out there that wanna, you know, not rely on, because during COVID, like if you're just a DJ, you were going broke. Like there was no shows, nothing. So, you know, you have to, you know, writing for other artists, writing for TV commercials, sync deals. That's a big thing. And this is all stuff you could just, like again, ChatGPT. I stress it because like I use that, like it's literally my like best friend right now. I'm just using it for everything, and like making music for, you know, ringtones. That's how I got my start. I was making music for ringtones. I think I was charging like $50 a ringtone. I was doing like 40 ringtones a month, and I was just, you know, this was this was a hustle. And did I want to be sitting there making jingles? No. But like to make money back, this was like 10 years ago. I had to, you know, do that. So I was doing that a bunch.
And I guarantee you're still using some of those skill sets to this day. You learn things when you do that. That's and actually, I mean. Let's I just want to kind of bring everything to a head here, because like where can we find you? Like I want to just, you know, put a big stamp on this, because like you've had a great influence on a lot of people, and you've made some amazing music. I'm a fan.
Thank you.
And so so where can we find you on social media? And then obviously what's your label again? And make sure you drop that knowledge. We'll put these things in the captions too. So if there's some people that want to submit music, I want to make sure they know where to find you. Everything
is at Zack Martino. Maybe Twitter or X has an underscore. Someone else has that. Dusk Till Dawn Records on everything. Again, I think except for Twitter, there's an underscore. But Zack Martino, Dusk Till Dawn Records.
That's amazing. You know, Zach, thank you so much for coming on the show. I really appreciate it. Honestly, you put some knowledge out there. You've been for a long time too. So guys, thank you so much. Late Night Legends, once again, presented by Club Killers and Zack Martino. Thank you so much for having on the show.
Thank you guys.
Kellen, Icon, myself, DJ DeVille. We'll see you on the next one.
Late Night Legends. Late Night Legends. Direct from Vegas, it's the Late Night Legends. Late Night Legends. Late Night Legends. Club Killers, let's go. Late Night Legends. Late Night Legends. Direct from Vegas. The world famous Club Killers crew.